while I'm talking. Beep.
Now I gotta try to remember all this stuff. And go. Oh, wrong one.
The views, information, or opinions expressed on the broadcast of Worldwide Flavor Network
I gotta do all
are
these
solely those of the individuals involved and does not represent those of Worldwide Flavor Network and Live365.com. Worldwide Flavor Network is not responsible and does not verify for accuracy of the information contained on any live or recorded broadcast available for listening on this site.
True School Flavor. Saturdays we live with your host, Mr. Antoine. Raw at 55. Check us out every Saturday at noon, live on Worldwide Flavor Network. True Flavor. Yeah.
It's your girl, A. Michelle. Join us on Sundays from 10 until 12 noon for the Baltimore Flavor Gospel Show on Worldwide Flavor Network.
This is your boy, Jay McGraw.
Your girl, Akia McDaniel.
And this is
The Entrepreneur Corner.
Where you can catch us each and every Friday from
8 p.m.
to 9 p.m. right here on Worldwide Flavor Network. Check us out.
Yeah.
Peace, family. Tune in to Let's Talk with Kesha, Monday nights at 6 p.m. on the Worldwide Flavor Network. What's your flavor?
And it's your girl, Lisa, the Baltimore Paparazzi. And this is In the Spotlight on Worldwide Flavor Network.
Worldwide Flavor.
Right. So, we're running a little late. So, it doesn't matter. Because we always make up time.
Right.
So, tonight's guest is somebody who I tried to get on the show when I had it at Hard Body Radio, but I don't know what happened with that.
Life.
Right. So I definitely had to get him in. And plus, he's back to doing music. The one and only Block Hugger, as I know him, but now he's just going by Hugger, I believe.
Hugger.
Right.
Yeah, I don't be on nobody blocks no more. Too old for that.
I'm too old to be in these damn clubs taking pictures. But, yeah, and he brought his son with him. You introduce yourself?
Your boy, Young Hugga, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I took pictures of him and Jay.
Mm-hmm.
First time being on stage.
Yep.
5 seasons.
Right, first time.
Yeah.
They was on stage together. They won't be on stage again May the 23rd, out of Wisdom Court.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about that too because, like I said, you back to doing music.
A little something.
Yeah.
A little something.
I love when people can't stay away from the music. You know what I mean?
Therapeutic.
Very.
So.
Very.
Life brought me back to it.
Right. So we go back about 12 years now because actually 11 me being on the scene, taking pictures and being actually seen, but a year prior to that, everybody heard my voice on the Blog Talk Radio show. So we got some history.
Yes, we do.
And I have a lot of fond memories of one in particular is when you and Buck Jones were having a contest on who gives Lisa the best hugs.
Oh,
I'm the winner. I'm the winner.
I win.
But
Buck, that's my man though.
Yes. He popped up one day when I was living right there on Winchester and Poplar Grove, and he popped up coming down the street, and he was like, I didn't know you live around here, dude. So yeah.
That's Baltimore for you though. You just never know when you're gonna run into somebody.
Man, you don't know who knows who, who's related to who.
Right.
You be talking about somebody and be like, oh yeah, that's my cousin.
Right.
Like,
that's my sister.
Man. I'll be like, oh dang. That's like Big Dro from TAGMG. Mm-hmm. I've known him all these years through the music. I was on a wine trip a couple years ago, and I was introduced to this girl. Well, she's not a girl, young lady. She's younger than me. Joe's sister.
Wow.
So now for the past like 4 years, that's my partner in crime. Like, that's my petty partner. Like, yeah.
That's your girl. And that's his sister.
Yeah.
Small world.
Right. So, yeah. So, like I said, we got a lot of history. And I always like to talk about history when I talk to people on my show, because I don't think enough people realize what history, they've missed out on a lot. Solomon just actually shared one of my pictures that I took of him on stage at 5 Seasons. I don't know what event it was. And he shared it. And I was like, I miss you, Solomon.
Right.
I was like, we miss you.
Down to Guilford.
Right.
Right.
So we've lost a lot of venues over, over the span of 11 years.
Yeah, quite a few. Black Hole, one of my favorites.
I think that was one of everybody's favorites, because that and Sonar.
Yeah,
To me, 5 Seasons was my home.
Even though everybody home.
That was home. But the underground hip hop, that real gritty, that was Sonar. And Black Hole, because just the way it was set up, right, and the vibe in there. And right, I've said this, I said this last week, and I've said it many, many times on my show, that back then, you'd walk in to the Black Hole, and it'd be First Family, and then you look over here, Scar Akbar standing over here, you look over here, and Comp would be in the room, and guess what?
Records, everybody.
Yeah, none of y'all would be performing. Y'all was just there because it was a show. It was support, it was love, it was, we're going to go listen to some music. And I became a fan of Jay told me, I was on Jay's show last night just by accident. I came in to learn how to do all this. And he asked me a question. He was like, how have, I was Bomb's fan when I came in, but then, Bomb had really stopped doing music. He says, so what kept you? I got him on the show, I think, next week.
Yeah, he's back.
So he was like, what kept you, what kept you staying in the scene when this is the person that you were a fan of? And I said, I became a fan of the scene itself.
No,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm, while everybody else had their fans that only came out to see them and then would leave after they got off stage, I was a fan of the scene because I know that there's talent here. One of my favorite song is always going to be Chop. Always.
That's Graham's favorite song. I hated that song.
Usually, that's what happens.
Yeah.
The song that you hate, everybody loves.
I hated it before I finished recording it, but Graham's loved it, so
it was a hit.
Put verses to it.
Everybody loved it. When you performed it at Vanity Room that time.
That's what made me start liking it, performing it.
Right.
To see everybody doing Graham's dance and everything. So yeah, that was priceless.
Yes. See, I miss all that, and I think it's kind of Billy's trying to bring it back.
He's doing a good job too. That
vibe and that feel, and that's probably one reason why I go to his shows so much.
Yeah, the Autobar kind of turned into the Black Hole.
Yeah, and the Autobar is that gritty underground.
Right. Stage, balcony, stickers.
Right.
Paint,
I just shared the story about last year. They had put it up. The owners had put it up for sale, and everybody. I remember when they put it up for sale, and there was a story about it, and everybody was worried about who's going to buy it and what they're going to do, because look what happened to Sonar. So that place has not been able to be a stable club. And I mean, I'm not saying that negatively, I'm just facts.
But Sonar brought in big shows. They had it done different. People got it now, won't do nothing with it. So
because they don't want to. They don't want to do that.
Right.
I don't think they want to do those big shows because of the money situation. I guess. I mean, I'm just guessing, because that could be the only reason. Because that's so much money could be made there.
Definitely.
But nope. So Autobar, they were putting it up for sale.
Yeah,
And I just read the story and I just shared it that the bartender, she was the bartender. I remember seeing her when I was there a few times. She bought it. She's a new owner. She's keeping it like it is, but she's going to do more. She's going to be more inclusive. So she's going to bring more things there.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So I was really happy to see it because I was afraid we're going to lose another venue.
Right.
And right now, tomorrow night, Billy Live is actually, and Xavier James and a few other people are going to be opening up for Stevie Stone and Mad Child for the Strange Noise Tour 2019. I'm a big Stevie Stone fan. I'm a big Tech Nine fan. Strange music.
Right.
So I was like, so how do I get my camera in there? It was like,
Billy, just come on.
Right, exactly. It's like, I got you. I was
Media
like,
good.
okay.
All Billy shows, media good.
And then on the 23rd, like you said, the pre-summer jam show.
Yeah.
And that's got a lot of people on it.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
It really is. I'm going to be so tired.
You got the Ivory Stoop going to be in the building. Jay Royale.
Yeah, it's like, I got to put my glasses on, y'all, because I can't see nothing. I'm getting old. It's like, it's Hugga, it's Lights Out Crew, Gods, Icon of God, He's, Promise, Regeneration, I don't know who that is, Pirate Bay, and King Killer. That's Division Hell Rel's, I don't want to say proteges, but that's his little group that he's got. 3D and Mousy are going to be there, Kid Kong, and You're Fresh, and many more. So it's and that show starts. The doors open at 8:00. That's going to be like just that lineup right there with nobody else on the show. Is awesome. it really is. So how long have you been like? When did you start doing music? Because when I met you, it was 2000. Well, it was 2007 when I started listening. Well, it was 2006 when I met Bomb. 2007 when I started listening to the Blog Talk Radio show.
I was doing talent shows and stuff back when I was 13 years old, but I was freestyling since I was like 10, 11 years old.
Yes, and I like to hear that kind of stuff because like whenever I ask somebody like when did you start or whatever, and some of them will be like, yo, I used to be, in elementary school and beating on the lunch table.
We did all beating on my mother table. I still beat on my mother table when I go over there.
She gonna beat you.
She still say that too. There's nothing to get the tap and getting deep blood. I do it everywhere. So
right. So did you want to take it to get because back in the day everybody wanted a deal. My nephew a few years back when Young Money was really, really the hot label. That's all he could say. I want to sign with Young Money. And I was like, do you know what that entails?
I think I would be alive. Anybody would say that they didn't want a deal, but at the time, and like I said, it's just therapeutic to me. Like I wasn't even going to the studios then.
Right.
So my first time in the studio, I was probably about 14. 15. My man took me down North Carolina to a studio down in Cape Fear, North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
And that's when I started falling in love with making the music. Like being in the booth and being around all the beats and the producers. And
talking to the microphone, Hugga. Your voice is deep,
I'm
but
just like
he's laid back, y'all.
Reliving it all again.
Right, and see, and that's why I like having these. See, these are not interviews to me. These are conversations.
Right.
Because I go all over the place and come back around. Sometimes I forget what I'm talking about, and like a lot of times I apologize because now I got my medical card, and
right. I need to hang with you.
That's what everybody says, and everybody's like, my ex and even my friend was like, they just died laughing when I told them because I don't smoke. I never have.
Right.
Never.
But you the card.
But I had to.
Utilize it.
I had to because the modern medicine, I call it modern medicine, is messing with me. Like, they won't give me anything for pain, and when they do give me something for pain, it only works for a couple hours anyway, because they only give me ibuprofen and Aleve.
Oh yeah, that ain't no.
And then my anxiety, I have anxiety, depression, and everything. I have anxiety real bad, so like the medication that they gave me night terrors. I had night terrors about killer clowns, and it was creepy. So like, I have friends of mine telling me over and over again, "You guys," I was like, "No, I don't want to." Man, that's the best thing I could have ever done.
Right.
It truly is. So sometimes I'll be spaced out, but it's not on purpose.
That's all I love.
But I like back, like I said, back when I first met you, and it was First Family, and it was like almost, it reminds me of what like Wisdom Court now is like. This is First Family, but that's not all of First Family, because there's like a million more people that, you know, it's like, oh yeah, they're part of First. It was like humongous.
Well, I go way back before First Family though, like way back. We started out as Marble Hall Records.
Okay.
I was probably 17, 18 when we started that, and then that was like a neighborhood thing. Right. So we didn't really know exactly what we was doing. We was all in the streets, really just doing whatever we wanted, and came up with that. But then when we started to take it a little bit more serious is when we came up with Frontline Entertainment.
Oh, okay.
And that's when we had.
I think I remember seeing that. I don't know where. Because, I moved here in 2000. The first one in the city. I moved here in 2003. I used to come here all the time in 2000 because I was dating somebody here. Well, I was dating a couple somebody's here. But I used to come here in 2003. Well, I came here in 2000 and then moved here in 2003. Mm-hmm. And did not know that there was a music. I don't know where I thought people. Well, you
probably didn't see this then, because I think this was
just remember seeing that.
In
I don't
2000, like
picture or
in
something.
the 99, 2000, because I was like 18 and 18, 19. It transitioned from Marble Hall Records to Frontline Entertainment quick. Things happen like overnight.
Right.
Overnight it transitioned to that, and then my man Hugga, Face, everybody, that started Frontline. Like when it got the truck from up New York, I was the only blue Escalade of that color at the time in the city. They brought it back from New York already wrapped and everything, so
you all were doing things before anybody else was really doing those kind of things.
You know they just don't know it though. Yeah,
right.
Like we had the jerseys, everything, Frontline, everything. Back then, I was a teenager.
Right.
So,
did you have any guidance, like, or was it just you guys were just learning as you went along?
Learning as we went along. And I remember sitting in my man's bar though, because like I said, I was young. So we doing things to make money, but he had a bar. We sitting down there, so the videos would come on. That's when we first started Frontline, and we looking at other businesses and stuff. And I'm like, yo, that could be us. Like we got enough money to do that. That could be us.
Right. So even then, like you knew that you could run that business. Like you could run a business.
Yeah.
And because like a lot of people, they don't like. A lot like when they so when you were doing this, were you just rapping, or were you trying to like rap and do the business side as well?
I wasn't even focused on the business side. Let me clear that up. Top, like I was around people who was into what I was doing, but also had businesses.
Right.
So collectively. At that time, I just wanted to rap. Like I was in the street at that time. This was back when I was saying I would never get a job. I would, you know what I'm saying? I was young, so I'm like, I'm gonna do this and then I'm gonna do that, and we that's pretty much how it went. So this is a PG show, so I'm trying to watch what I say.
I know it's so hard because like when I was, when I had the show on Hard Body, you know, it was free reign, and you know, we could just basically say and play music, and you know, because
we can't even play
was,
my music, we just could talk about it, but
I haven't been able to play any music. Like I'm trying to get people to send me music that's clean and ready to edit.
We can play Life with J music, my son. Yeah, his music's clean. That's our young superstar. That's the big superstar. He our young superstar.
He's over there just like, I'm minding my business right now.
that's the hooks right there. They don't even know. I'm telling you, things a lot different. I mean, like even now, and I'm still just in it for the therapeutic. I'm not saying that I'm coming out with a project, even though I am dropping a mixtape, just because. Right. Like I got the songs. Like I've always had the songs. Right. That's what people don't know. Like I got catalogs of songs. Like we recorded every day.
Right, because I remember, like I said, like back in MySpace days and early Facebook days. Like I always, like when I start talking, I say, yeah, back in the MySpace days, people are like, MySpace? Right. I'm like, yeah, that shows you how long I've been doing this crap. But like I remember, you know, y'all just posting up stuff about being just
every day,
2-3 o'clock in the morning,
every day.
You know, it just recording
every day.
and I think that's what like made y'all's music like that great. You know, just not. It was that practice and that
we had chemistry with each other because we was around it every
day. Indeed, like I said, my fondest memories are of being at Black Hole Bedrock. 5 Seasons and Sonar, like those are the core for me. Yeah. They're the core for me. But
well, shit, you had Gentlemen. Oh,
whoops.
Beep.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, peoples. We had a Gentleman's 10 though. It was a couple spots. Like my first freestyle was at a Gentleman's 10.
I didn't know nothing about Gentleman's 10 until probably about a couple years ago. I knew nothing and lived right around the corner basically from there. Seen the place, didn't know what it was.
I did the 92Q ciphers. I did a couple things. Like I did festivals in the Virgin Islands back when we had Frontline. Couple things. We did a couple things.
Right, and I think because I was having this conversation with G Hood.
Mm-hmm. And that's my man.
Yo, G was like, we fighting. I said, well then fight me then.
Yeah, that's my man. I knew him since he was a little kid.
He was like, he just moved and his neighbor, it was like, is this guy named Malik. And I was like, Malik? He was like, yeah, he knows you. And I was like, okay. Come to find out it's Bamboo's son. Lights Out Crew.
Oh, okay.
And he was like, do you know Lisa? He was like, yeah, I know Lisa. I probably know Lisa longer than you've known Lisa.
Wow. And that was an example of that small world we live in Baltimore City.
So he was like, I'm going to fight you because he's been like, I told him, hit up Billy about these shows. Billy goes everywhere, and Hood's doing stuff. We just talked about it. He was like he's going to Panama. He went up and did the UVO. The thing that Drake has up in Canada, he did that last year.
Hood do a lot of things. Hood is his mother's god brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I knew Hood years. Like
that's my man, $100,000. He still scares me.
And my youngest son just recorded a song at his studio.
F&R Studios.
Yeah, up off of Taylor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, me and Hood, we used to do a show. Because when I stopped doing my In the Spotlight show at 5 Seasons, he took over my night.
I remember that.
And he hired me. He paid me to come and take pictures. Even though the night was still my night. I was like, because I was done with it. Because people were getting on my nerves. Why can't I go on now? Because I'm running the show.
Yeah, that's why I just get it all the way in order. And if they late, then it's on them.
Right. And that's something else, too. Not only rapping, running a business. You did it. You had your Everything's Loud show.
They coming back.
Good, because we need that.
Yeah, they coming back.
We need shows because I think a lot of people have lost their way of doing shows and just are relying on social media and YouTube. And I mean, I give this example all the time. There's a group here in Baltimore, very popular, 92Q, Praise, all that stuff. Very popular. I don't know them like that. Mm-hmm. But when I covered the 92Q Summer Jam a couple years ago, they were performing. Mm-hmm. I was not impressed because their song was playing and they were jumping around on stage with the mics in their hands, but they weren't rapping into the microphone. They were just partying. Right. So I was just like, this is what we do now?
Well,
oh, okay.
You know, it's based off of that fan base. If that's how they got their fan base, like, when it gets, see, that's where everybody, like, I ain't gonna say everybody, but it get a little complicated when it go from the love to the business. Right. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I love to do music, but I also respect the business.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, everybody's like, oh, they're the hottest thing. They're in the streets. You know, Skipper used to tell me that all the time when we would talk about the new kids, and I'll be like, okay, like I used to. The whole debate about the new stuff is not hip hop. When everybody started saying that, when the Migos and all that stuff when they came out, that's not hip hop. And I was on that bandwagon at one time, and then I stopped and I thought about it, and I was like, it's not the hip hop that I like. Right. It's a form of hip hop. It derived from hip hop. It broke off from hip hop, and it's its own entity. It's just not for me. Right. So I don't down anybody's music that does that or likes that. Just know that I don't. I'm a lyrical person. I like lyrics. I like stories. Right. I don't like a lot of nonsense. A lot of nonsense of just rhyming words to be rhyming words.
That's what I do.
You know, you just rhyme words to rhyme words. Okay. I was like, wait a minute, Hugga.
I'm just joking.
Don't start that.
I'm just joking.
But you know, so I had to stop and really look at myself at first, you know, and be like, okay, it is a form of hip hop. It's just not the hip hop that I like and that I listen to. Like Kevin Gates is my favorite. Like I went all the way to Michigan to see Kevin Gates.
Yeah, that's a good rapper.
You know, it took me a long time. My daughter was already on to Kevin Gates before he became popular. Mm-hmm. And she'd be like, "Ma, you got to listen to him." I'm like, no. I heard like they played. My son is always playing music, and I don't know why he doesn't have headphones. I've bought him.
Because he wants you to hear it.
I don't care. I don't want to hear it.
But because you heard it, now you like Kevin Gates.
Kevin Cash, because the rule is when you're in my car, we listen to what I listen to. Mm-hmm. And when I was in Cashmere's car, we listened to what Cashmere, because it's her car. Right. She was making the payments on that car. Right. Not me. So she would play her and her fiance played Kevin Gates. My son played Kevin Gates. And I'm like, and it was hard for which was the song that turned me. And I went and looked up his lyrics. That's what got me, was lyrics. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I stand at the front of the stage from the beginning of a show to the end of a show. And a lot of times people think that I'm mean mugging or whatnot, but it's not that. It's I'm trying to hear the words and I can't, because the best place to hear the actual music is like in the middle of the room or towards the back. Right. But I'm up front taking pictures. Right. So I'm trying to hear the words. Right. You know, because
it's extra loud right there.
I've come home from a couple of shows and been like, I can't hear. Right. But so yeah, I'm, you know, really a words person. And, you know, I like my turn up music. I like turn up music too.
Everybody do.
Yeah, you know, especially, you know, if people want to party, I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to listen to a whole CD of nothing but turn up music. I'm old. I need a break.
I just let life dictate the music. So, like, I got a whole catalog, like I said, and a lot of it is at my cousin 9410. That's my cousin.
That's man right
is
there.
At his studio, and I could really, like, each song, I could tell you, like, exactly what was going on in my life. No matter what the song was talking about, I could tell you what was going on in my life, why I ended up at his house 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and he was playing this beat, and that's what came out of it.
I think Nadi's a vampire because he never sleeps.
He don't. I think nobody in my family do. So that's why all our sessions came 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Like, I'm going, whatever going on in my life at the time, I know he up, I hit him, cuz what's up, I'm about to come through. When I come through, he already be having beats playing. Sometimes it got a hook already on it. Like, he just know. That's me. That's my cousin. We've been doing this for over 20 years. He just know.
Right. So, do you have like a favorite song of yours that is that like this is like it's your favorite? It's the one that is like that's your best song out of your whole catalog, or is it just is there one song that just kind of pops, in your thoughts or anything, or there's just because there's just you make too many good songs?
They all come from a different aspect of what I was going through at the time. So
that's the best answer I've heard in so long.
Yeah, so I don't have just one like I think I went off on this song. Like I believe I can rap, so to me I'm gonna go off on any song. But each song, like I said, I was going through something.
Right.
So the times that I wasn't rapping, which was the time when my son, he was young, so couldn't focus on rapping and him.
Right.
But what everybody don't know is I was still rapping. I just wasn't putting out the music.
Right.
Because it's therapeutic to me to still do it. So that's my cousin. So I still be at my cousin's house, still dropping music. I just wasn't dropping music, but I was making music.
Right.
So what's going to be new, what everybody going to hear on the 23rd, it's going to be new to them, but it's going to be old to me. So,
right. Right.
Because I just haven't dropped it.
Right, because like for me, knowing you, and then all of a sudden, you were performing, you were on stage, and then it was like, now I'm gonna I'm gonna be a businessman, and I'm gonna push everybody that I believe in. Like I think Grams is one of the most talented artists.
Still is to this day.
Yes. Every time when he gets on stage, like I just like
he's a performer.
Everything.
But he can rap.
Right.
Like, he really got bars.
That song. What is that song? That oh God, what is it?
Which one?
Lord knows.
Oh Lord knows. Yeah, Rip Knox produced that.
Man, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about that song.
Yeah, I was just listening to that the other day. I should put it on the end of my shows.
Man, I'm telling you, like, there's just certain artists, and like, I think that some of the best artists that we have in the city, they're not even rapping because they're like, well, I'm not really focused on that. I'm focusing on this. Like you, like I said, you was like, oh, I'm focusing on,
See where it's from?
Yeah.
You see it say, what it say? Naughty Lock, let's say that's part 2 of a list.
Oh
this is part 2
of a list.
Of a list. Of songs never dropped.
So now for your project, have you got your list for your project, or are you still going through the list?
I'm still going through it because I got some new features that I'm gonna do. Then some of the songs, like all of them are all original beats and everything. So
yeah,
like Naughty produced probably about 90% of them tracks I just showed you.
And like I said, like the history, and I'm so big on the history, and because people don't realize the road that we paved by doing all the things that we did, trying to get the underground hip hop scene to be seen. I just went on my MySpace page. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to pull those pictures off my MySpace page. So because everybody's telling me I need to do a documentary, I need to do a book. You got? I need to do a book, like pictures, use my pictures in books and stuff. And they don't realize how time consuming that is.
Yeah, but I think that you realize how much it's like a time capsule you got when you put it all together.
Right.
Like everything that you said they missing, you really had photos, video clips, between you and Miss Sonia. Yeah, between y'all two alone, like the shows that y'all recorded and everything, like a documentary would be dope.
Right, because I know J5. He had deleted a lot of his stuff. I don't know why. I don't like to delete anything, and I lost all the original stuff up until 2011 and 12. My computer had crashed, and like it was just like I lost everything. Only thing I have now is what's online, and
Which is a lot of it.
Me being spiteful. I had threw my ex and his best friend birthday party show at 5 Seasons. And when we split up, I deleted all those pictures off of Facebook. And I don't never delete anything.
What rational decisions make you do?
Yeah.
I know, because I made some in my life.
Yeah. So, you know, and it's like, I need people to understand that the scene is so big. You know, everybody's like, oh, I know you've seen posts on people talking about well, what do you think about the Baltimore music scene? People are like, oh, it's not even there. It's not. I'm like, where have you been?
It's definitely there, whether they choose to support it or not. But it's there.
Well, they're in their own little box. I mean, when I first started out, I was wherever Bomb was at, I was at.
That's how I met you.
Right. Wherever Bomb was, I was. My very first show was by myself.
M.I.B.
Right. My very first show, it was by myself. I was by myself. I was at Turntable Club, and it was for Sonny Brown's benefit show after he got sick and everything. And it was January 2008. That was my very first show.
Yeah, we forgot all about the Turntable, 15 Minutes of Fame and all that. Yeah, that was another spot.
That little narrow stairway going upstairs. Ugh.
And then they got that other spot that was on Washington Boulevard. Yeah, that lasted for a short minute.
Yeah, until the people started complaining about the noise and the traffic and everything.
Right. And
but now it's like a
strip stores, like a couple stores all on one little strip.
I think it's a restaurant or a pizza place or something. But wherever Bomb was at, I was at, and then I started to go places by myself. And then it was like the same people. We were, I was seeing the same people. So then I started branching out when I started becoming aware of other shows and other promoters. Well, that's a loose term, but but other shows, and then I was seeing faces that I had never seen before. With my In the Spotlight showcase, I had the boy Silk from Team Jacob. He was like, my wife raps and she wants to do your show. I have no problem. I put whoever wants to be on the show. Here's your tickets. You give me $75. You keep $75. And this is your time limit.
People out and handle your business.
Right. You got to prove your worth on that stage. I don't.
Right.
So then he was like, her homegirl raps too. She wants to be on it. That's fine too. So when the homegirl got up on stage and performed and got off the stage, I said, "Where have you been?" I didn't know who she was. Her name is Calico.
Okay, I know who that is.
And I had never seen her before. And she blew me away.
It'd be like that.
And she's like, I've been rapping. I've been doing this since da-da-da-da. And I was like, well, why haven't we crossed paths?
Because there's so many little subdivisions inside. And some connect, some don't. Like, some people don't want to embrace the younger ones.
Right.
So there's always going to be that division.
And as a business person, you are going to bring those two together because the fan bases, you know what I mean, as a promoter, and that's what Billy does.
Right, and he do a good job of it.
Like you said, Bomb was he wasn't doing any shows. I'm sure he was doing music, but he just wasn't doing any shows.
Me and Bomb talk pretty regularly, not often, but regularly. Right. You know what I'm saying? So even during the time where we wasn't doing music, because we connect on other things too. Right. So we talked pretty regularly, and at that time neither one of us was doing music. And it's just ironic that when I started getting back and I realized that it was a few other people coming back on their own turn, like I'm not saying we all came back because he did it or he did it, but it was like it just naturally happened. Right. And it just so happened that it's happening around the same time.
Yeah, he and with his his show, I guess his first show back was a Wisdom Court show, and I wasn't even going to go that night because I was tired, working.
I was there, remember?
Yeah, I was like I was not going, and then I was like, Bomb's performing, I gotta go. It would have been blasphemous for me not to be there.
Right. And how about my first show back and look where I'm at? Really got shit sold up right now.
Yes, I tell people all the time.
Shout out Wisdom Court.
Lisa, how come you didn't tell me about these shows? How come you didn't tell me about those shows? I said, I've been told you about Billy Live.
I tell people all the time. They keep asking me. He got enough shows.
Yeah, he got enough, and he doesn't just do them here in Baltimore. He does them in West Virginia. He does
just
them
wants you
in
to be
PA.
serious. That's it. Be serious. He put you on.
Be serious and support.
Right. That's it.
You want people to support you. You got to support others. And you know, like I told him before, I said, and those who don't follow suit, you know, that's fine. They don't want to do that. That's cool.
Right.
You know, happy trails to you and blessed endeavors. Mm-hmm. But you know, like I said, me seeing you on the flyer and seeing, you know, I was like, oh my God, yes. Like,
it's gonna be a good night.
Oh,
I was actually with the DJ earlier. Anchor. Yeah.
Bank.
So we putting a few things together for the show.
Yeah.
It's gonna be dope. I'm mad that I can't get the tracks the certain way I want. Cause my cousin got the studio down, and it won't be back up in time. So I would have to go record everything to do it. So I can't do that. But you know, it's one of them situations where you just gotta make it work. And it's gonna work. We went over it today, and it's gonna work. It's gonna be pretty awesome.
Bank is awesome.
Got my man Omega Red coming through.
Really?
Omega Entertainment, yeah.
I remember him.
He on the set.
I remember him. There's a lot of faces that, a lot of people that I don't know what happened to them, where they're at, if they're even doing any music anymore. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like some people, they just kind of fall to the side. Or
He there. He got a studio on 28th Street. That's where Grams be working out of. Like, what's that? Isn't that 28th? 29th. Which one going over? 28th Street.
It depends on which way
you're
you're
Alligator going. At, where you going towards West Baltimore.
Oh, that's 29th.
That's 29th, yeah. So it's on. So his is on 28th, coming back across.
Yeah.
Right where that go. When you come to the end of the bridge, you make a right. It's right in that building. Right
on Sisson Street.
Right across from the gas
station.
Yeah. Right there.
Yeah. I thought somebody had that location before. I don't know.
It's some other stuff in there, so they probably still there too. So.
Yeah, I just remember something was that address. I don't remember what it was.
They got a nice studio over there. Slick Gohan be in and out of there. Grams, Omega. Yeah, they got a couple things. Yeah.
What is Slick with at Her Body?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, because
he was with us first though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, me and Slick became cool because at Hard Body, because Slick was the only one who had a key to the front door, and I said I need a key to the front door because I hate coming in through the studio to get to the radio room. I had a key to the radio room.
Told about Slick.
I believe it.
He don't know it though, but that's a whole nother story.
Right. So I was wondering where Slick was going to go once, you know, we had shut down. But yeah, he was like Slick was like, you want the key? You want my key? I got a key to the front door. I said, yeah, I want the key to the front door. Then 3D gonna say, can you make me a key too? I said, no, I ain't making you no key.
I still think him, Rip Knox, like two of the dopest producers coming out of Baltimore outside of Jay Oliver and everybody else.
Yeah, because Jay, Make America Trap Again track from Kevin Gates, that's a Jay Oliver beat. I was like super duper happy for him.
That Good Grief from my son is a Jay Oliver
Man,
beat.
I'm gonna tell you what, I love that song. That song, it just gives me so much life.
Game Time from my son is a Jay Oliver beat. Wild Lies is a Jay Oliver beat.
See, I have
Breathe is a Raw Lee beat.
Yeah, because like when the video for Good Grief played and then Breathe came on after, that little snippet of Breathe came, I was like, yo, what is this one? What is this one?
I Miss You 22, I Am You 2, I Am Y 22. That's a J Funk beat.
Yeah, those are probably people that a lot of people don't know, and they should. J Funk been around for it.
Who you know do it like me? That's a Cold Savage, Prince. That's one of his beats.
This
EP was definitely well thought out.
That's like, I have that on my Google Play.
Me too. I got it on this phone. I got it on Tidal.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But so what I do is I get bored with I have so much music on my phone, it's ridiculous. So what I do is I just go to my Google Play and I go to songs and just say shuffle all. So it shuffles everything that's on my Google Play and everything that's on my phone.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah.
See, I got playlists.
Well, I have some playlists too, but it's just easier for me because like sometimes like there's like
I be in mood. See, that's where we get back to the mood. I got certain moods, and when I'm going through certain things, I don't want to hear certain music, so I couldn't have put on. Like I'm really that picky. Like my son, I tell you, like I got certain playlists. Like I probably hit a song and I straight rewind the song because I hit a song 3 times before I go to the next. He probably be over there like, "Dad, what you know?" I be like, "Man, I just need to hear it again."
Yeah, there's. I mean, because like I said, I say it like all the time. Music is therapeutic. It's therapeutic for you when you write it. Right. It's therapeutic for the person that's listening to it. Right. Because, and that's what I tell people all the time. I say, as long as you're true to yourself and to your music, right, somebody is going to be able to vibe to it. They're going to be able to relate to it. Yeah. I got a big thing about being able to relate to music. If I can't relate to it, you know, like I said, I can't relate to all of Kevin Gates' music because I don't deal drugs and I don't, you know, so yeah. But
you've been around it, so you know what he's talking about. So
hell
you're saying it.
Hell yeah.
So you can relate. You live in Baltimore, you can relate. I don't care what nobody says.
Yeah, I can relate to the fact that I was out there in front of the damn cops.
It affected somebody in your life and your family some way, form, or fashion. So
yeah, so you know, like there's music like. There's certain songs that certain artists that I listen to when I'm upset, when I'm mad. Like when I'm mad, I want to listen to. Most time I want to listen to like heavy metal kind of stuff because it, you know, it just amps me up. So that's why I said like there's always somebody out there. As long I'm really big about being true to yourself. When you try to force a song, it doesn't come out. You know, it just doesn't come out right. Like when
I don't force songs, so.
But I've heard people do it when they try to do what's on the radio now. And it's just not a good fit, you know.
I don't even record it, I don't feel.
Right. But some people are trying, like, they're trying to get played on the radio. But I don't, like now with the way technology and all is, you're trying to get played on the radio, but there's satellite radio, there's internet radio stations. There's so many streaming services now that the airplay. You know, everybody was so worried about getting played on 92Q. Meanwhile, 95.5 down in DC is playing. They're playing local artist music. You know, so you know, and there's nothing to get Squirrel because every time Squirrel sees me,
well, Squirrel playing music. He playing what he can.
Yeah, exactly what he can.
Right. So like the program is like if we all was to stick together, like the way we supposed to, and push the issue, then more will happen. But nobody does that. So
no, because that's the same thing that was going on 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Same argument. Same.
Because you know why? It's business, and that's the part that don't nobody understand. Like. Everybody want it, but it's business. Like they got a program that they gotta follow because they program gotta get paid for them to have a job. Right. That's their job. It's not a hobby for them. So there's certain things that they gotta stick in. So when people come in and the music not copyrighted, music don't have the RSC codes, music not registered with Nelson, music not nothing, it's just music. But you expecting this man to play it. Now how he gonna explain that to his superiors, and you know what I'm saying? Right. Like it don't flow like that. You got to be within the guidelines.
Do you remember him when he did that YouTube video? Did you see the YouTube video he did? Squirrel laid out the blueprint.
Oh yeah, how to get your music played. And how many people do you think followed it though?
You know, and that's what that was.
We still following it.
Right.
With my youngest son, so. Every now and then you hear a couple of his joints come on there, but we know what we got to do with him, and that's what we doing. So. Shout out Life with Jay.
Right, so...
He's not here right now. He was just on the FaceTime, though.
Was he? Yeah. I and it's crazy because your kids have grown up in this scene, and my kids have grown up in this scene. And, you know, I look back, you know, when people who haven't seen me in years or whatever because they went, you know, and they'll be like asking me about my kids. And I'm like, I got grandkids now.
I don't have none of them, but...
Man, please.
I don't have none of them.
Like,
I got 2 young men that's very talented.
Very talented.
One graduated from high school, the other one graduate this year.
Well, Jared went back and he's got his last 2 credits. He graduates June 6th.
See? They doing good. He get ready to finish his apprenticeship in HVAC. Well, he about to start his apprenticeship. He already universal certified, so yeah.
That's awesome.
He back to making music. Like 2 of the songs I'm doing is off of his beats that he picked and hooks that he wrote to him. So that's why he's gonna be on the stage with me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So was it well, because I know they've been around you with the music like their whole life. So, you know, was there any doubt in your mind that they were going to follow in that? Not really your footsteps,
I didn't think they was going to get into that, but they showed signs of it. With IJ, we knew that he was going to be into entertainment.
Because he was an entertaining child.
Right. So I won't even just say music, because he's just an entertaining child. He was more little laid back, more I wouldn't say shy, but more the quiet type.
Right.
But he had all the talent. Like he could rap. But he's more of what's going on today.
Right.
With the loud, his music is a lot of melody, you know, soothing, but it's in his own way though.
Right.
So he you know, he don't follow the Migos or none of that. It's his own thing, which make it different.
Right. And that's like I said, like that's why my whole thing is with people is, you know, artists, I just what's true to you always shines bright. You know, Bodymore Big Steve, he started making different music. A lot of his music is more geared towards females. It just happens that way because he writes what he's going through or what he's, you know, what he feels. Or,
I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, but like, I can't see you doing a whole lovey-dovey song. I mean, just knowing you personally, I just can't see you doing a whole lovey-dovey song.
I can't. I'm not even going to get personal with my issues. Like,
right.
Man, we dealt with it. We good.
Right.
I'm back to doing what I'm doing.
But he was like, you know, he felt like people. He said, I'm doing chick songs. I said, but you're getting a lot of feedback, not just from females. You're getting a lot of feedback from people saying, "Damn, I can really relate to that song. Like I went through something just like that." And people still send me tracks. They said, take a listen to this and let me know what you think. Why are you asking me?
Because you in a position to give an unbiased opinion.
Right. And so and he was like, I value your opinion, you know, you're very much. And I was like, okay, but I always bounce stuff off of Cash, my daughter. Because I'll be like... Right.
Same thing I do with them.
I'll be like, we were in the car today and somebody sent me a track. He was like, give me your honest opinion. He said, don't hold back. I said, well, you already know I'm not going to hold back. I might say it in a nice way, you know, especially if I be like,
Did you like it?
Yeah, I liked it. I liked the fact that he had sent me 2 different versions of the song last week or so. And one was him actually doing the hook and one was somebody else doing the hook, but it didn't have a 3rd verse. So I told him, I said, are you going to do a 3rd verse or are you going to have the guy that did the hook do the 3rd verse? He said, I think I'm going to have him do the 3rd verse. You know, I was like, I liked your version of it, like with you singing the hook and everything. I liked that. But when I listened to him, I liked that just a little bit better.
Right.
It was a better fit.
Right.
It wasn't too much of you. So, you know, because he can sing. You know, he raps, but he can sing. So he sent me today, and it was the song with the guy that was doing the hook. He did a 3rd verse, and I was like, Kat was like, I like it, because she was like, at first she's listening, she's like, he sounds like Pap, talking about Papoose. I said, yeah, a little bit. He does sound a little bit like Papoose. And
these day and age, it's hard not to sound like somebody.
Right. You know, and
so many rappers, there's only but so many cadence you can rap in.
Right. And so, you know, like it's for me, you know, I hate when I compare somebody to somebody else. Because I know that you're your own person. But like a lot of times, like I'll hear somebody, you know, say something and I'll be like, It's this guy named LIE who does Billy. He's done a couple of Billy shows. He's a white guy, rapper. And I seen him on stage, and I was like, "Who is this guy? I've never seen him before." So he started rapping, and I was like, "Yo, who is this guy?" And nobody would tell me what his name was. They didn't know, and I was like, "Oh, who is this guy?" Because he said something, and I wasn't trying to compare him to Eminem, but it was very Eminem-ish. Like what he said was like something I could hear Eminem saying.
Right.
You know, the wild, crazy, you know.
Sporadic bars.
Right. So I was like, yo, and I was like, I like him, and I ended up meeting him at the next event that I went to at Cheers, and he was like, I just want to come up and say thank you. Yeah, he was like, I want to just thank you for, because I've recorded something. I've gotten to the thing where I'll be at a show and I'll go to Instagram on my Bodo Paparazzi page and I'll do the minute clip of somebody on stage and put them on my page because I'm getting a lot of people from everywhere on that page. I have a friend of mine, Charles Brown, up in Providence, Rhode Island, and he does a 1 minute news with Charles Brown and I share it all the time on my Bodo Paparazzi page, and now he's gotten to the point where he tags me in it, so yeah, so I can share it, and I don't have no problem with that because me and Charles go way back. I met him. I don't know exactly how I met him, but I know G Major had brought him down here to do a show at the Lava Lounge. That's another spot.
Here we go. The more we talk, the more we're gonna come up.
Right. So, and I met him him and his wife that night, and we've kept in contact all over the years. So he does a lot of stuff up in, Providence, Rhode Island. And because I share that, then a lot of people because there's a lot of hashtags that he adds on there, and I just share everything. And then people are like on my page and they're commenting on that, and then they're following me on Bodo Paparazzi. I don't follow them back because I don't know. It's hard. Like it's just too many people. So I'm just like
them people back and support them people.
Well, actually, thanks to David Banner, I met him a couple years ago in New Orleans. He's so awesome, I swear. But thanks to David Banner, I actually became a fan of a guy named Tricky 45 LT or something. I can't remember, but his name is Tricky 45. And I became a fan of him just because he did a song with David, and David Banner had posted a clip of him listening to the song. So then I went and found him and listened to his music, and I was like, oh, I'm a fan now. And I made a post. And when I make a post, it goes to Twitter and Facebook. Okay. And on Facebook, David Banner liked it and retweeted it. And the artist liked it and retweeted it. And I had hit him up and I was like, I really would like to get you on my radio station if you ever come to Baltimore. I would really like to sit down and talk to you. Because I think he's a really good artist. He puts me in mind of a little bit of David Banner with some of his songs, how they're, I'm not going to say political, but they are. Right. But his other music that I heard is really good too. But because of, I became a fan of somebody who's in Mississippi. And these people are following my Baltimore Paparazzi page. So when I post stuff on my Baltimore Paparazzi page, they're 9 times out of 10 going to see it.
Right.
So
that's crazy you said Mississippi. I became a fan of a little kid in Mississippi.
Yeah.
Man, ATM Jew. That's my little man. I met him in Virginia. But I've been following him as a matter of fact, I brought him to Baltimore. He recorded a song at Prophet Studio and shot a video.
Okay.
And he down out of Mississippi.
Right. And there's a lot we went to Houston and New Orleans right for like Mardi Gras. I went with Steve, Baltimore Big Steve. And Deezy, who's his partner, we went to we're going to our first night in. Like as soon as we got there. We're going to an album release party out somewhere in Texas. Okay. And I was like, whose album release party is this? And it was like Devin the Dude's gonna be there. And I was like, okay, well, I know who Devin the Dude is, So I was like, all right. His name's Highway Yella, and he signed to Swisher House.
Okay.
And now him and I are friends. And I'm trying to get him to come to Baltimore.
That's how it happened, though.
I told Steve, I said, yeah, we need to get Yella up here. Because he looks like Pimp C. Mm-hmm. He looks like he could be Pimp C's son.
He probably is.
But, you know, he's another one. Like, he's got that, you know, that Underground Kings kind of vibe to him with his music. Mm-hmm. So, you know.
He probably is a son, though.
He's a really great artist too. Like, I like the fact that now we're able to see artists from different states, even countries. Like, you know, it's easier for you guys to be able to get out of country fans and recognition, because overseas they love hip hop.
Yes, they do.
They love hip hop. Dirt Platoon has gone to Paris I don't know how many times.
Like, you know, the first artist I ever heard, well, I ain't gonna say I ever heard, but the first artist that I know that was going over there, Norm Scholar.
I don't know.
Yes, that's
right. I was like, well, wait a minute, hold on.
Norm Scholar used to.
I know this.
Vicious V used to DJ. That's how I met Vicious V. My homeboy Cat, I used to freestyle all the time as a teenager. So he used to date K Swift.
Oh, okay.
So back then, I forget how they ended up at his house, but we over his house. Vicious V come over there, and they wanted us to freestyle. So me and Norm Scholar get the freestyle. And next thing you know, probably about 2 hours go by, we still down here freestyling. And that's why every time Vicious V, rest in peace, that was my dude. But every time he saw me, he'd be like, "Go ahead, drop a freestyle." Every time, no matter where we was at, and he would call Norm, like, "Norm, that's my man." Like I was a kid when I met these dudes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But over there, back then, you know, over here they got 5 stars and all that. Over there, it's flags.
Right.
So over there, see, and I knew this back then. Like over there, he was 4 or 5 flags over there back then. So he was already eating off of this. One of the first people I ever saw really eating off the music, Clayway Records. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like these people was already making money off of the music when we wasn't even focused on the money part. They was really into the business side then.
Right.
So I think what's happening now is a lot of people starting to notice that. So it seemed like it ain't no saying, but it's a saying. It's just now you got the people that's underground, but the people that see that there's a lot of money to be made,
right?
They focusing up and trying to get to a lot of money that's sitting on that table because it's there to get.
Right.
You just got to do what you got to do to get to it.
Right. Because I remember that very first show that I went to at Turntable Club, and I seen these 2 guys, and they got up and they performed, and it took me about 2 months to find them on MySpace because I didn't know who they were. I didn't know who anybody really was. Mm-hmm. You know, I got the question about, "You're Lisa? Lisa that be on the radio show? Mm-hmm. Bombs fan Lisa?" I'm like, "Yeah, thought you were black." And I was like, "I know, I get that all the time." And that's when I was making ringtones. That's when I started making ringtones, and I had ringtones. I had a Kane Mayfield ringtone. Mm-hmm. I had Bomb ringtone, of course. I started making ringtones of all these artists, and they would be on my phone just because, you know, I would play them. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, Kane Mayfield was like, "Yo, y'all want your songs turned into ringtones? Here you go." And I was like, "Oh, please don't do this to me."
Why not? That's awesome.
Yeah, you know, it was just because it was everything that I was doing was because I'm me. Mm-hmm. You know, the pictures, the directing traffic that I still do. "Oh, Lisa, do you know a producer?" I know plenty of producers. Mm-hmm. "Lisa, do you know anybody who does videos?" I know plenty of people who do videos. "Lisa, do you know any singers?" I know singers.
Right.
"Do you know?" I know.
That's another song right there.
You know, so I just direct, and I'm still directing traffic, but it's because I want this scene and the people in it to succeed. Mm-hmm. You know, that's always been my thing. That's why.
I'm fine with business.
Yeah, that's fine. That's why, like, I I do all the things that I do for people, you know, and support people so much, and I support the scene as a whole. And there's not a lot of people that do that because they're always, you know, I have my favorites, of course.
Everybody do.
I have my favorites, you know. I go out and you know, like I said, I like a lot of the artists that are on that do Billy shows. And then I see a lot of artists that I don't know. He brings them from everywhere, Pennsylvania, West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Hagerstown, everywhere.
And he was like, I don't discriminate. You want to be on the show? Come on out.
But you gotta respect him because he go to these places and support these artists too, though.
Right.
He don't just bring them here, and he take people from here there to support out there. So.
Right. Because that drive to Martinsburg, that drive to Milton, PA, that's a 2.5 hour drive in Milton, PA.
I think young drives.
Man, let me tell you something. Not when you got to be at work at 8 o'clock in the morning.
When I tried driving in Miami.
No. We drove to Houston.
I drove to Cali.
Oh, see, you trying to one up me. You got that. You got that.
Yeah, I drove back from Cali when he was a baby with him in the car.
See, that's...
Got to go.
Man, I don't even want to think about that. We were 4 grown people in the car driving down to Houston, Texas, a 22-hour drive. I told Steve, I'm never doing that again. I will fly and meet you there.
Mm-hmm.
I will never do that again.
Yeah, that's too long. I would never drive to Cali again either.
Because, you know, when you sitting there and you're supposed to be switching up, you know, supposed to be sharing the driving experience, but, you know, the other chick gets behind the wheel 15 minutes later. She's like, oh, I'm so tired. Chick, I was fine driving. You didn't have to switch with me.
Mm-hmm.
But, so... As far as everything that's going on in the music scene that you see and that you've been a part of, what do you think could make it more noticeable to potential fans? What do you think, you know, like what could be and what should be done to be more noticeable to potential fans?
That's a tough question because
Mm-hmm.
if you look at the younger artists coming up, they all got fans.
Right. But most of them can't even get into a club.
Right. But I don't think that the fans come from, like, I don't think nobody really going to get fans just off of music unless you're already out there.
Right.
So I think these young artists getting the fans because they out, they mingle, you know what I'm saying? They personality, like,
right.
They on the Instagrams, they on the Snapchat. They not ashamed, they not scared to make a fool of themselves. But somebody my age might be too prideful to do what the baby did and go down to one of these festivals and put a pamp on. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I watched him do an interview and talk about that. I said, did he really do that?
Right.
And
like, I'm
Steve
not
was like, I was there.
And troll like Tekashi 6ix9ine.
Oh, God.
Like, I'm not, you know what I'm saying? So, the young kids, they're more outrageous with it, but they doing it for the bigger reward,
right?
And society giving it to them, so why wouldn't they?
Right, and that's and I mean, it's.
And I don't knock them at all. Like,
I just look at them and shake my head.
I'm not even competing with them. That's their lane. They created that lane.
Because you know, at me, like I automatically, because you know everybody called me Mama Lisa. Because I was always the oldest person, you know, besides Shaka Pitts. Because me and Shaka are only 6 years apart. 6 months apart. And I'm always and I'm always watching over somebody. Like, I would literally be in the club and I would be looking around and seeing who's where. Make sure, okay, you over there. Make sure ain't nothing going to happen. You know, make sure ain't nobody fighting. And I always missed the fights that did happen, which, to be honest, we rarely had any issues.
Right.
You know?
But they're not going to get fans like that.
Right.
The fans is going to come the same way, like I was just saying, with these young kids and what they're doing, that's their target market. Right. So, if you, like me, I'm not going to go target myself to a whole bunch of
young kids
in middle school.
Because they're not going to be able to relate to your music.
No, but they'll hear it. You see what I'm saying? The ones that can will hear. Like my sons and them, they know about Jay-Z and Jeezy and stuff like that because they was around me, so they heard it. So the stuff that they do like, they like. The stuff they don't like, they don't. So, but I'm not going to chase that's their market. So I think if people want fans, they should be in their lane. Right. And it'll start there, and then it'll branch out to the other genres. Right. You know what I'm
saying? Because like I know back in the day, like I was trying to think, because like I never knew anything about the music scene until I was on MySpace. Because only thing I knew about the music scene here in Baltimore was what I heard on IGQ, which at that time was Scar, Boss Man, Melly Man, Hooli.
Oh yeah.
They had songs that played on the radio.
I was actually on
Tim
the radio
Trees.
back then with Tim Trees and them. Yeah, we had songs out then too.
Tim Trees. That's all I knew. So then when Bomb hit me up and asked me to listen to his 3 songs on the. Remember, it was only 3 songs on the player.
I remember.
Yeah. And I liked all 3 songs because he was different. Like he was kind of different to me. It was just something.
He still is though.
Yeah.
He still is. Like his whole cadence is different, but somebody somewhere is going to copy that cadence because it ain't too many cadences to go. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And even they might not even hear it from him. They just naturally going to do it.
But even like that's all I knew. So once I got into the scene and seen how big it really was, I mean, it wasn't like it is now where everybody raps. But I was like, yo, and then when I would talk to the kids, because at that time I was making ringtones, and because you came over to the house and got ringtones, and we was trying to figure out how to put ringtones on your phone watch that you had
before anybody.
Yeah, before anybody. So I was always trying to figure out, okay, how can I get the scene to be noticed by people? And I would play local artist music while I was making ringtones, or while the kids were on my porch. I would play local artist music in my house, because I lived right there on the corner of Winchester and Poplar Grove. So there was always people around and out there. And I remember talking to these kids, and they were coming up to me and getting Bootsy and Webby and Gucci Mane as ringtones and Lil Wayne. And I was like, yo, you need to start listening to some of these local artists, people that are here. And they were like who? Mully Man and Boss Man. It's like, no, it's much bigger than that. Fast forward to me doing my In the Spotlight shows. I had somebody hit me up and wanted to do the show. I said, fine. They was like, well, can you meet me at the Burger King at Mondawmin? I said, that's fine. So I go in there, and as soon as I sit down, this young man looks at me and goes, didn't you used to make ringtones up on Poplar Grove? And I was like, yeah, I did. He was like, I used to come get ringtones from you, and I used to come get instrumentals from you. I was like, wow. Somebody heard me.
Another artist was born. See?
Right. And I was like, it made me feel good, because it's like somebody heard me. And then I started meeting some of the other guys from around the way. Ricky Mayfield. He would go by Mayfield, and he was with J Rip.
Remember
J Rip, Shay Black, Sick Nick, all of them. So I met them through ringtones, because Mayfield wanted me to turn his music into ringtones. And then if somebody came up there to get his ringtone, I would split the $1 that I would, charge for the ringtones with him.
Okay.
See,
y'all should have been charging more.
Well, I charged $1. I charged $1 because it was, I didn't pay for anything. It was just my time. And it just,
Oh, shoot, my bad. I was live. I didn't mean to click on it.
I was about at my wit's end when the Baltimore City police officer walked up in my house. Like, didn't knock on my door, just walked up in my house. Because there was like 6 people on my front porch. And my nephew was getting ready to walk out, and he almost hit the cop because the door opened up. And he thought it was one of the guys that was on the porch trying to come in the house. And it was a cop. And George was like, yo, you almost caught it.
Oh man.
He was like, well, I said, no, this is my private house. I said, I'm putting ringtones on their phone. Is there a problem, officer? Well, I'm just wondering why there's all these people up here. I said, because it's my house. And I walked out, I said, these three right here, I've got their phones. I don't know why these three are up here. I guess they're talking to them. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So they, I was real reckless on Poplar Grove anyway.
Here you go. Great telling yourself, don't get you on the radio.
I was already in front of the cop trying to stab that boy with the butcher knife. See? That was the night me and Bomb was going something. We was going to a show somewhere. Bomb had went around the corner to KK's to get something to eat. And by the time he come back, he was like, what happened? I was only gone for a few minutes. I was like, well, how things go.
Mm-hmm.
But we I'm always trying to figure out how to get people to listen to people more. And one thing is, I guess, trying to get people's music out there more. Like I said, now
that's up to them though. See,
yeah,
like there's only but so much one person could do. Like,
no, I'm just talking about like the artists themselves, like how to get themselves noticed even more. A lot of the artists that Cashmere, my daughter, has come across has been just because they've been on the people been on mixtapes, and she had this app for mixtapes. Mm-hmm. And when she get tired of listening to whatever she had on her phone, she'd go to this app and she would just start listening to different mixtapes with all these different artists she's never even heard of before. That's how she found Kevin Gates. Mm-hmm. And then my friend, he sent me this screenshot of this he was listening to some song on Google Play. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what is that? So I went and looked it up. He was like, this song, it rock. He said, I heard it on XM radio or whatever it was, satellite radio one day in his truck. He was like, and that's how he's heard new music. So it's all about.
I got a homeboy. That's all he do is troll all the mixtape sites.
Right.
And when I tell you that he hit me 3 to 4 times a week, telling me to check out an artist. Mm-hmm. Like, that's how I heard of the Baby before he came out. Like Kevin Gates. My sister actually put me down with Nicki Minaj when she was still on mixtapes before she signed with Cash Money.
Remember when she came
Drake, all of them. Like,
I'm getting ready to throw another one. Remember when she came to Taste International?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. I remember she came to Taste International too, because I was like, who is this chick on the cover of this flyer?
Like, that's before she got big.
That's before she
Cardi B was here before she got big.
Yeah,
when she was promoting her mixtape.
Nicki was here before she had a behind.
I think Fortune Bowman brought her down here. Cardi B.
That's like I said, that a lot of these, that's. I guess it all depends on what these artists want to do. You know what I mean? It's like I said, like, you're not. I don't think that you're looking for any kind of fame and fortune right now. You know what I mean? But for somebody that is, they gotta. My whole thing is you gotta pay your dues. I told Hello Rello that when he first came on the scene, and he was like, "Do you have any advice for me?" I said, "Pay your dues. That's what you really do have to do." I said, when you're paying your dues, like, you're showing people that I'm serious about what I'm doing. This is not a game. This is serious.
Building relationships.
Right, and I'm so proud of, like, he was at a show. Flames had a show at Sonar, or was it Paparazzi? I can't remember. I think it was Paparazzi then. It had to be. And he had Cuban Links on the show. And Rello was on stage we're getting ready to perform, and was like, "That's my mom right there," pointing at me. I was like, "Oh my God." So, I mean, he's always called me his mom since that day of asking me for my advice. And I'm just so proud. Like, when I see people doing what they love to do, I'm proud. That's why I get filled with so much happiness when I see somebody doing what they want to do. They might get knocked down 15 times.
Don't I know it?
But they get right back up.
Stay down is the key.
Right, you get back up. And you're like, all right, let's reassess this and let's keep moving.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I had a question in my head, and it just went out my head again.
What you were
I don't even know. That's the craziness, because my mind be running 500 miles an hour all the time.
Welcome to the club.
Man, it is just a pain. Like, I just don't understand it.
Well, happy early Mother's Day.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. I've been getting all kinds of messages from my friends and all in my messenger inbox, all the little videos and memes and pictures and all that. So I'm already know what I'm getting for Mother's Day. I'm not getting it till next Friday. I'm getting a brand new car. So.
Well, you know already. So you get a brand new car?
Yeah.
Who that? Your daughter?
Yeah, she gave me the down payment for it.
Happy Mother's Day.
Yes.
That's the dope Mother's Day gift.
Yes. What was she paid the BG&E bill. She paid the house internet bill. She gave me money to help me pay the car insurance. Yes. My daughter is awesome. But yeah. I'm trying to think. But you had mentioned Vicious V.
Fuck yeah. Anyway. Some shit ain't gonna never change, you understand?
But you had mentioned Vicious V. We've lost a lot of people in this music scene over the years.
No, Vicious V my mind, but I thought you said Vision.
No.
I thought you said I mentioned Vision.
No, I did not mention. See, you heard what you want to hear.
Maybe because I'm trying to answer this person.
Right.
I'm trying to find what they looking for and send it to them, but I just heard Vision.
No.
And I don't even really got no harsh feelings towards you, but fuck you.
Watch your mouth.
I'm sorry. See,
it's not me. It's the company.
I apologize.
But
I'm so sorry.
we've lost
Take us nowhere.
I know. That's how I feel about myself, because I slipped up last night too. But we've lost a few people from the scene. And a lot of times we don't even realize that they're gone, because I guess we're just not in the same, we're like in the same circles all the time.
Right.
But we lost Vicious V, Paco.
Yeah, I was just with Chino a couple weeks ago.
I had just talked to Paco probably maybe about a week or so before, because I would ride past the house, and when I was on my way to my therapist, and I was always out looking for him, because it was just a habit.
Right, they're always right there.
Always sitting on the step, standing on the step, always talking to somebody. And I had talked to him. I stopped talking to him a few times, and I talked to him one time, and he was like, "Yo, Lisa, I'm getting ready to do this, that, and the third, and when I blow up, I'm taking you with me, And I was like, I know, Paco, I know, because I hear that all the time, all the time. Lisa, you've been down for me. You did this. I'm gonna take you with me. Okay. I want you to make it big. You don't have to take me with you. All I want you to do, all I want you to do is when you're winning those awards, and you're up there giving your speech and thanking God and your grandma and everybody else. At the end of the speech, you say, "Oh yeah, by the way, thank you, Lisa Bodo Paparazzi, for believing in me." That's all I want. I used to tell Comp that all the time too. But yeah, I took that one extremely hard. It's crazy. Like I said, we've lost a lot of people, and a lot of times you don't even realize that they're gone, because we're not. You don't deal with these people all the time. Back when the hip hop scene was like 2008, 2009, it's like there was always a show going on. We were always at shows
somewhere.
Thursday, right. Friday, Saturday. Always 5 Seasons, Bedrock, Sonar. Always going. Like the first year, 2008, I done went to 60 shows that first year, and that was between here and Brooklyn, New York.
Mm-hmm.
So, I know it's not going to get back to that camaraderie. I know it's not going, but it's getting back to the point to where a lot of people are working together. You know, people are, you know, I always say this. It was like one day, everybody was cool. Everybody was family almost. Everybody was like, you know, dapping each other up. And then all of a sudden, like the next day is, oh, I don't like him. Or I don't like her.
I think that's anywhere though. Like I heard that in New York. I heard it in Atlanta.
But it was
you
like,
ever sit back and think though, like sometimes I be in my own world. You ever think that like sometimes the way the scene was back then might have been good for us that was in it, but it really wasn't good for the scene because it was just too much going on in one little spot. So people get tired of seeing each other.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't branched out. It should have been more of that togetherness, but outside of Baltimore.
Right.
And I think it would have been a bigger impact.
Yeah, and it's just like, you know, I always say that I know it can't get back
but
to
it can
that.
get better.
But it can get better, and it's getting better. Like I
Especially
said,
with people like Billy Live, branching gas. You got a couple people doing that on different levels.
Right.
So it could get better.
Yeah, because I mean, I've seen a lot of I've seen over the years, over the past few years, I've seen a lot of, like I said, promoters or people like who put shows on, and it's always the same people on the show, you know, on their flyer.
You ever think why though? Because I ran into that. Them people be wanting to perform, and they really be out there grinding. They eat off of them. Like a lot of people won't sell tickets.
Yeah,
but you give somebody 50 tickets for $100, and each ticket worth $10. You see a different monster.
Yeah, because I took how I did business. I took from all those years of watching the shows, watching Prophet put on shows, just all the different shows that I've been to over the years, and I seen how they did things. And then when I met Billy, and I seen how Billy did things, and I was like, okay. And that's why like my shows were very successful. I got to the point to where I wasn't paying nothing for 5 seasons on a Saturday. Because why? Because Solomon was making money at that bar. He come to me, he said, Lisa, next month you only pay $200. I said, okay, Solomon, thank you. I appreciate it.
See, I was taking it a step further. I was getting the bars.
Right. Yeah, because you were doing the Out the Vanity Room.
Yeah, we had the bar and everything.
And once again, your shows would have people there. You know, and I've seen some promoters that, okay, well, I'm gonna charge you $50 to perform, or bring 5 people and that's your $50. Sweetheart, let me tell you. And I tried to tell this person, I said, it's not gonna work, because what's gonna happen is he's gonna pay the $50 to you, and he's gonna be just him and his girlfriend and maybe one other person they're gonna bring. That's it. Right. And they're gonna be performing for each other.
Right.
And me, because I was there taking pictures, because I was getting paid to take pictures.
I was giving them 50 tickets with a $50 deposit, and that was just to keep. And it wasn't, people say, well, you charging? I'm like, I'm not charging. But once you throw these shows and you put people on flyers and then people don't show up. Yeah, so now I got to hold you accountable too. Like, I pay for the venues and all this shit.
Right.
All this stuff up front.
Right.
So, and I'm out here promoting. I pay for the flyers, posters, all that. So, I got people giving out flyers, all that.
See, you were doing stuff. You were doing stuff that these other promoters, that they want to call themselves promoters, were not doing at the time. You know, the whole thing with flyers. Remember leaving Sonar and coming out to your car and having all these flyers all on the cars?
Right.
It was annoying, especially when it rained.
You knew about the event.
Right. Right. So when something happened, somebody says, oh yeah, they're having something down at Sonar, blah, blah. You'd be like, yo, I seen something about that. Yeah, that flyer that was stuck to your car.
Right.
But, you know, and you're right, you know, you were giving them 50 tickets, $10 a pop.
Yep.
Do the math. Then you were end up charging them, what, $100?
Yep.
So that's a $400 profit if they did it right.
Right, and I was able to not have to book 20 artists to have a good show. I was booking 7 and 8 artists.
See, that one thing that aggravated me at an event that I went to. It was this one promoter, and the first experience I had with him was so funny. I came there. I had done my show on a Thursday night because we switched to Thursday nights. Simon was like, he wanted to do parties or something. I don't know. Simon was trying to make more money. And so he's like, I'm going to give you Thursday at no charge. I was like, all right, hopefully I can make it work. And I did. So
Thursday's still a good night. That's after the hump.
Right. And I did. I made, my shows were always good. But so I went to the show because I think Comp was supposed to be performing that night. Mm-hmm. So I went to the show. And I come in there and I have my camera bag and I'm talking, I'm giving Larry a hard time like I always do.
Poor Larry.
And so the girl sitting behind the podium looked at the guy that was standing in the doorway. Was like, do you know her? He was like, no, I don't know her. And I looked at him and said, I'm Lisa, the Baltimore paparazzi. He was like, oh, well, okay. I was like, He said, well, do you know who I am? And I was like, no. Sarcastically. He said, well, I'm so-and-so. I said, I know who you are. I said, I've known your name for a few years. Mm-hmm. And I left it at that. So that night, 2 artists got on stage and basically tried to bully the crowd. Now, mind you, I'm looking at the crowd, and these are street guys. Mm-hmm. I know this. I know. I've been around enough of them, I know. So this was Solomon had the speakers all lined up right there at the front. Mm-hmm. I'm literally got my back up against the speakers and I'm watching to see who's going to throw the first punch. When you got drunk, high dudes from the street, mm-hmm. and you got somebody on stage talking about none of y'all can F with me. Okay. So I'm watching. Then his eyes rolling in the back of his head, because he was high as I don't know what. And then a couple people get up there, and then somebody else gets up there, and he does the same thing. Oh, y'all can't mess with me. You okay there? And I'm like, oh my God. So the next day I get on there and I said something about it on Facebook. I was like, I really thought, I was going to see something that I've never seen, and that's a fight in 5 seasons. So I don't know how the promoter found out about me writing this. Mm-hmm. He inboxes me. All of a sudden now he knows who I am. And he inboxes me. Can you call me? So I called him. And I said, whoa, wait a minute. Before you say anything, this is my opinion. But there was somebody on there. She said that she's glad she didn't come out. So, people are not going to come out because you say something. I said, oh, so you know who I am now? He said, I went and I looked it up and a lot of people, they listen to what you say. And I said, it's called respect. That's what it's called. It's called respect. And he was just going on. I was like, look, you had 2 artists. Oh, they wasn't going to do anything. I said, no. You had 2 artists get up on that stage and act a straight donkey. And basically trying to incite a fight. As a promoter, you should have done something, said something. I don't know what you should have done, but it could have all turned around and went bad. I said, then you had a second person get up there and do the same thing.
Wow.
I said, so I'm just saying, be mindful. So he was like, oh, well, you're good to come at my shows and no charge, da-da-da. I'm sure.
No, you is not.
Comp never got to perform that night because why? Because he had like 30 people on the flyer.
See, I don't.
Actually, it was 20. I was exaggerating, but there was 20 people on that flyer, and Comp did not get to perform, and that's the only reason why I came. I didn't come to see none of the rest of them.
I ain't never been a fan of that. Too many people.
Too many people. It's too much.
Oversaturated.
Right, and it's
trying to rush everybody on and off the stage. And then they wonder why don't nobody stay. Like, ain't nobody trying to watch 30 people.
And then you start late because shows, at that time people were always, they didn't want to come on time. And I was just like, that's why like people used to get mad at me, because I'd be like, look, I give you, like, oh, what time do I go on? Why? I need you here at this time.
See, I told everybody a certain time except the featured act. The featured act, we treated them like the featured act.
Right. Right. But, I was like, okay, if they were supposed to be going on at this time to this time, I need you all here by no later than 9:30.
See, we wanted everybody there by
Right.
9:30 except the featured act. The only person I would never put as long as he there, like, we'd only put the feature on between like 12:30.
Right.
Like the prime time. So as long as he there before 11, you good.
Right.
And I never had an issue. I never really had
I'm gonna tell you why you never had any
issue.
I'm gonna tell you why you never had an issue with anybody messing up your event.
Why is that, Miss Lisa?
I'm gonna tell you why, Mr. Hugga.
Why is that?
People, either they respected you,
It was respect.
or they feared you.
It was respect.
You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you can tell. Like, I had people approach me as far as like, why can't I go on, and why I got to wait till this time? Because I said so. I pulled mommy on you because I said so. Because this is my show. Because I need you to go on at this time. Because why? Because you brought all these people with you. You know what I mean? The person that I knew that was going to bring 15 or 20 people with them to stand in the crowd, I wanted them right there, almost like a featured act. You know what I mean? Without being a featured act. And people didn't understand that concept. Why I got to go on, and then like, why I got to go on last. Somebody's got to go on last. The next time you do my show, you won't go on last. But somebody has to go on last. Why I got to go on first?
I hated that.
Somebody's got to go on first.
We went through that as first fam everywhere we went because we came 30, 40 deep. We went to, I'm like, yo, we stay anyway.
Right. And like I said, I understand people have jobs and families and whatnot. But
back then,
to
we was
sit
in
there,
the street. We stayed.
Right.
We stayed.
In the parking lot
We
afterwards.
got big pictures. My mother got pictures of everybody after the club with the lights on, and it's like 60, 70 people on the stage, like at 5 Seasons. Literally, they on my page.
I remember being like outside of Black Hole. That's why the neighbors hated the Black Hole, because we'd be outside in the parking lot just chilling after,
Right, this after the event.
Right.
So, like, we hated that first round. We used to always talk about that, like, they gonna make us go last.
Well, see, I never wanted, like, I hated it, the people who had to go last. Because, nobody wants to go last. And most of the time, like I said, people rap and roll.
See, I would never mind going last if it wasn't so many people on the card. So that's where the complications come in. They put so many people on the card.
So, what made you guys decide to start throwing shows?
Tired of being put like.
Because like I know a lot of people started trying to throw shows and they didn't last, but they tried to throw shows because they didn't like how the promoters were doing the shows. So they figured it was so easy that they could do it themselves until they realized it's really not that easy.
Yeah, it's really not that hard either though. It's really not, like, depending on what kind of show you kind of throw. So,
Right.
But we was already people that was outside. We was already people that was making. So it was nothing to hand out flyers and people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So people would come anyway because we was supporting them. So I think the hardest night we ever did was the Tuesday. I'm so glad Tuesdays at the 5 Seasons. That was the first show we ever did. And I wasn't too keen about a Tuesday night. But they started out slow, but they picked up. And that's when I realized that it's just what you put into it.
Right.
So that's when I hooked up with Goon, not old Goon.
Goon.
Goon hooked up. And
His crazy self.
we did the party down. I think it was at 5 Seasons first, and then we took it over to Sonar. but it was Charm, I think it was at the time.
Paparazzi.
Yeah, paparazzi. Yeah,
paparazzi. Because remember they took where they took the not the big room but the next size room, because remember it used to be 3 different clubs. Mm-hmm. It was the big room, then it was this room, then it was the talking head room, which was the tiny room in the back.
Right.
And then when the people that changed it to paparazzi knocked the walls down and just made that one just made it just 2. So yeah.
And I don't even know what happened with me and him, but by the time I started with Ogun, we was partners, and then he was just hosting, and then it ended up just me throwing it. But like, I don't hold nothing against nobody. Everybody had a lot on their plate,
right?
And some of them was skeptical about it anyway. But I was never skeptical about it. I just felt like if we promote it, they're gonna come out,
right?
Like, and I was picky about the acts.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, like, it depends on, like, to me, it all depends on what kind of show you're throwing. Now, my show was all inclusive. If you wanted to get on that stage, then all you had to do was take these 15 tickets, give me $75, you keep the $75, and you perform. And then if you showed me and you showed Billy that you did good business and you brought out people, then you would end up going on a Wisdom Court show. That's how Lyricism went from my show, because he sold 28 tickets to my show at 5 seasons. Mm-hmm. Well, he sold 25 and then had 3 more at the door. And then the next thing you know, Billy put him on the Ram's Head show.
Yeah, see.
Because my show was like a stepping stone to be able to do bigger places, you know. So you're performing at 5 seasons, but everybody complained about 5 seasons. Oh, 5 seasons. Who wants to go to 5 seasons? I'm tired of 5 seasons. Then when 5 seasons was gone, I missed 5 seasons. Yeah.
See, I went. What I did was I put the shows out there, but I went and I looked for the featured act. So I was looking down Waldorf, Maryland, New York. Like, right. I brought people that was underground from out of town, so that way we could take people from here
out of town. Right. And the thing about it is like you didn't just have a whole show with just your people. You know what I mean?
It never was. Sometimes none of my people perform. Right. It wasn't about us.
Right, but you know, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I see a lot of shows, and that's what I see. It's the same people on the show because that's their people, and then all of a sudden you see a lot of these people. They're throwing shows because they don't want to sell tickets to be on a Billy Live show, or they didn't want to sell tickets to be on a Border Paparazzi show. They, you know, I don't have to. I'm that great. I'm that great. You know, I don't have to sell tickets. Okay, if I put your name on a flyer, how many people are going to come out and see you? That's what I need to know.
And that's the part they don't get.
If you got a hell of a fan base, cool. No problem.
You got a hell of a fan base, you should get paid. Yeah, we should pay you to be here.
Right.
It's self-promo. Why wouldn't I pay you?
Like, I got to do this. I got to do promo. I got to promote the show, and I got to do this. I'm like, you got to do that anyway. Just because.
Nobody knows you right now. Right. So you got to promote yourself anyway. You building your brand.
I said, well, then if you're that big, you should have a team that does all that for you, like the big guys do. Like, you know, Jay-Z and Rick Ross and everything else. Right. Just like I had the conversation with somebody about I hate somebody who raps over their lyrics. It just is something about it. Like, if I've seen where people have rapped over the lyrics, but I can still hear them.
There's a technique to it.
Right. I can still hear them over top of their lyrics. And that's just a pet peeve for me. And then I get the argument with, first argument I got was, well, Rick Ross does it. I said, but you're not Rick Ross. Rick Ross did it on a BET Awards show. You're doing it at 5 seasons.
You know why, though? I must say this from an artist standpoint, and we go through this with my son. Like, we always take 2 different show sets. We got the show this without the vocals, and then we got a show this with the vocals. And when the sound system
yeah
is not right, sometimes it's just best to have it.
See, and that's another thing. That was another argument. Well, the sound systems are crappy. And this, I was like, okay, well, did you do sound check? Oh, okay. The promoter didn't do sound check. Oh, well, maybe you should have said, hey, I need to do sound check. So I'm going to need y'all. I'm going to need you and the DJ and all to be there, and I'm going to be there.
And most of them not doing that.
They're not going to do that because they for one, they don't know anything about that, I guess, or they just...
It ain't even that. It's just the show's not big enough. Like, nobody's going to do... Let me see something. Like for instance, like the Billy Live show that's coming up. Mm-hmm. Nobody's going to come there the day before and do a sound check. It's not big enough. But let that been a show where the promoter bound to probably make 10, 15,000.
But you know
see what I'm saying? Then it's set up a little different because now you can pay to have this spot open the day before to get everything set up. It just don't work like that no more.
But I've seen people who have done big shows at Sonar, at Soundstage, and they have sound check there and don't show up. And then get mad because now they want to do sound check and the show's getting ready to start.
Oh yeah, well that's on them.
Right.
Like you miss your sound check, that's on you.
So it's like I said, I understand the whole concept of the sound system is crappy, this, that, and the third, blah, blah, blah. But it happens far too often. Like I said, on stages like Soundstage. I watched a guy at the Ja Rule show, not the last one, but the one before. And
I was there.
And he forgot his whole verse.
I did that before too.
But he wasn't rapping over his lyrics. So, I was like, okay, well, he forgot his whole... I was like, he must have been nervous or something.
Yo, I did that in the Virgin Islands. I rapped the same verse twice, and people ain't even catch it.
And the worst thing you can do is acknowledge it on the microphone. Like, people be like, oh, I messed up. Nobody knew. You shouldn't have said anything. Nobody knew you messed up. They was rocking.
Right.
They didn't stop in the middle of it and go, oh, you messed up.
I did the same verse twice.
Maybe they thought that's what it was supposed to be like.
Still rocking. This was in the Virgin Islands. Drinking at 151.
Never again.
I know that First Fam is Robin told us. See, First Fam, that's when we started taking stuff serious. Mm-hmm. That's when we was retaining entertainment lawyers. A lawyer up in New York. Same lawyer Genuine and all them had. We retained him, Ms. Robin, rest her soul. She was like the liaison with all that. She the one who handled all that.
Yeah. So
we just had people in position where we could just be artists. And she used to get on us like, y'all can't be drinking and smoking. We in New York. Right? It was like a mother for real. We up New York in the hotel room. This before the show. I think S-Dot was there. He was drunk as I don't know what. So she get on all of us about drinking before the show. But we go do the show, and I think Grams was actually doing this show, and we was just up there. But this guy come, he one of the artists, he got a camera, he got the guy walking with him. So he like battling people. How you doing? Right. So he get down there where we at, he get the spitting. So S-Dot get the spitting. Now, we wet.
Yeah.
So everybody in like ran form.
And this is before the show.
Right, this before the show. So this is actually out front. So S-Dot get the going off. So the camera dude stopped following the dude and got the focus on. The dude got mad. Took the camera back. It was funny, let me tell you. Yo,
I'm sure you guys got stories for days about some of the shenanigans that used to go on.
Yeah.
Probably some stuff that you can't talk about.
Yeah. Yeah, we get down
Gotta wait
Atlanta.
for the statute of limitations to go up on them.
First time we performed City Boy, me, Sosa, and Rick. Remember Mirage? They used to battle rap, the one that passed away.
Yeah.
So he was like a little brother to me. His older brother Rick used to rap with us. And that's how we rap. That's how we met Mirage. He was still a kid.
Yeah.
So he did a song called City Boy. We down in Atlanta performing it, and it's a part in the City Boy. He was like, couple bottles get tipped out. He was talking about the gunshots on the block. So Mike McIntyre, you know, they always had the gunshots in there. So he performed it, shots go off, boom, boom, boom. So, but we in the crowd. Right. He on the stage. So we went down Atlanta, probably about 20 of us. That's how many went to Atlanta. So we down there, it's probably about 8 of us on stage, but like 12 of us in the crowd. So when it got to that part and he on stage, we all walking to the stage like we shooting at them. Oh! So they all fall back against the wall like all the people
because they thought it was real.
Oh, that was so funny. Like, yeah, I can remember a whole bunch of. Yeah, we was up Philly ready to perform at a festival in the park. Sosa dunked on a dude in the little basketball thing. It was like a little bet, because Sosa's short. You remember Sosa?
I don't know. I probably see his face.
Yeah,
because like I said, there was so many.
Ty Hosley, he do the he just shot that short movie. Nah, he do that now. He about to do the kid and play thing.
I remember
House
the name.
Party.
Oh, okay.
He promoting it now.
Because I remember, like I said, I remember names, and I remember, like...
His name's Sosa. He was with us, too. He could hoop, though. Not only could he rap, he could hoop. So it was like a little bet. He dunked on the dude. Dude was one of the dudes performing.
Wow.
Like, we just had a whole bunch of, like, different time. We was in Atlanta again. We ended up in a hotel room recording with the Legion of Doom, the people who did Jeezy. Mm-hmm. So from that show, from that City Boy show, because of that stuff.
Right. It probably was like, oh. Because that's probably, like I said, I think like you guys were instrumental in doing a lot of things before anybody else was doing them. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, so that was something that nobody else had ever done before. Yeah,
Baltimore people stood on the corner, sold drugs. We took 16 people to Miami and stood on 14th and Ocean with boxes of CDs and sold them on that corner.
Right.
And literally 340 something CDs we sold in 24 hours.
Right. A lot of people don't I guess now with everything streaming
at $10 a pop, and then split the money up between the artists, and everybody just went and did them.
See, that was, like I said, I remember Bomb doing a mixtape and doing it was an album release party. And we did an album release party up in New York and did one down here. And New York was crazy. Mm-hmm. Because one of the guys that performed, and I was like, who is this guy? And then years later, I see his name throughout the music, and I was like, yo, I know him. I took pictures of him.
Mm-hmm. Named Sandman. That's how it be.
His name was Sandman. But like I said, that there's so many memories, and I like to think of and what's crazy is when I go back and look at pictures, and I can actually just go back to that, and remember a little bit more, because my memory's not like it used to be.
Mine ain't either, so don't feel bad.
I'll be looking at pictures and be like, yo, I remember this. And then I'm like, okay, half the people that are in these pictures I don't even speak to anymore. I'm like, wow.
I still speak, even to the ones I don't like.
I just don't, I don't
only because I know they don't like me and they speaking, so I figure they don't need to make no issues.
I don't know, I just
be like, man, whatever. It is what it is. As long as you ain't disrespecting me, I ain't gonna disrespect you. We gonna live, and I'm gonna leave it at that.
True. So, what, see, there we go again. I need to start writing these things down. I used to write down questions and whatnot. I don't even do that. I stopped doing that. This was just some more. I felt like I was those people that call you, the telemarketers that call you and they're reading from the screen. Mm-hmm. Hi, my name is Lisa, and I'm calling today about. Yeah, that's how I felt. I felt like I was reading a script, and I didn't like that, so I changed up how I do things. And then I forget things all the time. But when I did my Scar Aguilar video, my interview with him, I had a whole page of questions for him, and I was nervous And I've known Scar all these years.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when I went to the black hole and I seen Scar for the first time, and I was like, "Oh my God, Scar Akbar's here!" I almost started hyperventilating. Comp responded to sent me a message on MySpace, and I was like, "Oh my God, Comp sent me a message! Oh my God!" I would get excited. Holy Shalom, Mully man outside of 5 seasons. I was like, "Hi Mully, I'm Lisa." He was like, "I know who you are, Lisa. You introduce yourself every time you see me." I said, "Well, I mean, you're Mully man and you travel. This is before he moved down to Atlanta.
Yeah.
And I said, you travel everywhere, so you're meeting people constantly. I don't expect you to remember who I am."
Right.
He said, "Well, I know who you are."
Why you home? Why wouldn't you?
Because at that time was I even the Baltimore paparazzi then?
Probably not. Not back then.
I was in 2009, April 2009, Nick Soprano's birthday party. That's where he gave me that name.
Nick Soprano.
Yeah.
My man Nick.
Well, he was drunk. I took a picture of him across the room. I showed him. He said, "How'd you get that picture, Lisa?" I said, "I'm not telling you." He was like, "You the paparazzi." And I started laughing. He said, No. You the Baltimore paparazzi. I was like, oh, okay.
People tripping.
Yeah, because I know the time's coming. Because we started late, but it's cool.
It's
cool.
cool.
It's about that right time too, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think so.
We still did 2 hours.
Yeah. Yep. Hour and 55 minutes.
Yeah.
So, like I said, you got a show coming up.
May the 23rd.
Auto bar,
For
doors
the
open
summer
at
jam.
8.
Yep. That's what I seen. It say 8, but
It's not gonna start until 9,
Yeah.
9:30 or so. But because we gotta try to get everybody in there.
and I got tickets on deck. I think I got a few left. I got some new people coming out that ain't never been to none of the Baltimore stuff.
That's awesome.
From Laurel, Maryland, that I met over the process. That they fans now too.
That's what's important though. Then becoming fans.
Yeah.
So and you say you're dropping a mixtape?
Yeah.
What's it called?
Kill Yourself, of course.
Of course.
The original Kill Yourself was me by myself.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know that I have that, I believe.
Yeah, the original.
I have Chop too.
We made it. Yeah, we made it a Loud Boys, because that's when we were switching from First Fam to Loud Boys.
Right.
So that's where the Kill Yourself edition came from. This is the original Kill Yourself mixtape, which is me.
Okay. I'm looking
I had to
forward.
grow my hair back and do it.
I know. I was like, oh, grow his hair back.
Yeah.
Oh, one of my favorite pictures to this day is a picture of me and you at Black Hole.
Mm-hmm. I know exactly what you're talking about too.
I throwing up the MIB sign. You
Yeah.
First Fam. So yeah. So I want everybody to be on the lookout for that mixtape coming out. I want everybody to come out to these events. If you don't know about these events, you can go to Baltimore Paparazzi Facebook page. You can go to my personal page. Don't add me on there, please. Please don't, because I won't accept you. Go to my Baltimore Paparazzi page. Because y'all don't need to see me have my mental breakdowns and acting crazy.
It's all part of life.
You know, I had people tell me, Lisa, you got to be more professional. Now on this page, I don't.
Y'all come out and see me May the 23rd, but follow at Life is J. You don't really want to follow me. You don't want to see my chaotic lifestyle.
Right.
Follow Life is J. Follow Young Hugga Baby. Follow Omega Red. Follow Baltimore Paparazzi. But make sure you follow at Life is J. Got a lot going on. Acting, rapping. Sure,
Right.
he just doing his thing. So
We got to get both the guys in here. You going to talk if I bring you in here?
Yeah.
You always so
he
quiet.
be chilling.
Oh, he's just that.
It's my quiet assassin.
Yeah, exactly.
It's my
Exactly.
oldest boy.
Exactly.
He
He's
the
the quiet
oldest.
one. Like you got one that's quiet and reserved, and he's calculating because I
One
know he's watching and paying attention to everything
active.
around him. And then the other one, yeah,
Active.
yeah.
So we love y'all. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes, thanks for tuning in. Tune in next week, next Saturday, 7 to 9, in the Spotlight Baltimore Paparazzi. I will be talking with Bomb, B-O-M-B,
Oh, yeah,
Baltimore
I'm
on my
tuning in for that.
back. Bundles on my block. I forget what the new one is. It's something about something about the music back. I just seen it on IG.
Old school music back,
probably something like that.
Man, bomb probably.
Right. So I appreciate everybody.
Or bring our music back or something.
Bomb.
Right.
Thank you all for tuning in, and please, the show's being sponsored by Worldwide Flavor Network. If you're looking to have your own radio show, come and join us here on WWFN. Contact us via our website, which is www.worldwideflavornetwork.com. And I will see y'all next week. Y'all be safe. I don't know what's going on with this thing.